when life throws you lemons? My notion is, well, pick up those lemons and throw them at other people so they can also feel your pain. Well, hopefully, after this interview with Ate, where we talk about starting over when things don't necessarily go as planned, I hopefully will be saved, sanctified, and delivered. Praise Jesus. Today I have somebody that I am honored to interview, and maybe after the interview, understand why I'm saying I'm honored to have him on the show. He basically got me to understand that starting over is not a bad thing. He basically like owned it and didn't even make it seem like it was a problem. Ate, welcome to the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, as you can tell, we are in socks because I'm very confused. That we're roommates for like a long time.
Yeah, like 5 years or so. Yeah.
For a long time. So even I was homeless, they housed me. So that's how we became hosts. Ate, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nee.
Have you had a good month? To be fair, I woke him up extremely early because I'm recording at home, and I wanted to record before the kids woke up. So we're gonna try and do this. Well, one of them is up, but she's back sleeping. She's sleeping again. So I want to do this before the youngest one wakes up because he wakes up by waking up the whole neighborhood basically. So wanted to do that before. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nee.
What's it difficult waking up?
Oh yeah, I mean, okay, maybe no, because with work I wake up at odd times depending on what I have to do. So
to be fair, it was difficult getting him because he's been so busy. And his work involves traveling as well, so getting him, I think Saturday morning was like the most favorable time for him. So he was here on time, ish, because for Ghanaians, like typically everybody else would be late, but I tell it's typically like a man that would. Yeah, but then again, you've been foreign trained, so one of those things that you pick up once you've lived outside for a while.
Yeah, I mean, you said Ghana man time I was early, but I actually was late. So slightly. I mean,
on British time, yes, you were late. But on Ghana man time, you're early. You were here like maybe about
20 minutes after.
20 minutes past.
Yeah.
Okay. Today's topic is interesting. It's actually basically focusing on when things don't necessarily go as planned and having to start over. And let me just be very candid as to maybe when you've actually gone outside to maybe pursue a career, and based on certain circumstances you're unable to, it doesn't really happen and you have to come back, and basically like that plan is altered. How do you deal with that? And Ate, I didn't actually introduce yourself. Actually, Ate, would you like to introduce yourself before I continue?
Sure. My name is Ni Akwete Tete, Ate for short.
Because you are
a twin. You just have to throw that out there. Yeah, I'm actually a twin. And I live at East Legon with my family. 28 years old. Work at KPMG. And I've been in Ghana most of my life. I went outside for schooling, and then I worked a bit before coming back home, which is basically the topic
that we're discussing today. So when things don't necessarily go as planned and you are forced to move back, how do you deal with that? Let's talk about your formative years. Did you always know you would actually go outside for like university education? Was it like a dream for you?
Well, I mean, it was never a dream actually.
I think in Ghana it's just like those things that will eventually happen if you're looking at the course that you're on.
Yeah, okay. I think if you look at, let's say, the schools I went to, I mean,
the investment your parents.
Yes. Like we went to Ghana International School from primary, like class 1. That's like one of the most prestigious schools in Ghana right now. Was there to like Form 5. Then I moved to SOS, minor, which is also because I mean even in Africa it's one of the best like boarding schools. Yeah. So you go to such a place like. And I mean, you hear of people going to Harvard and Yale's and all that, and like that's like the mark they set for you.
That's what that's what you aim for.
Yeah. So in the end, it's like that you end up you're kind of pushed to aspire to go outside, not because like that was your original desire, but because the environment you were in, just
to see things in a particular way.
Yes,
it made those schools seem
attainable. Yeah. Because honestly, I mean, like. I was never not in that situation, but I would believe that I wouldn't be surprised that if in a different life. I was in a different school.
You probably wouldn't aim for those
Yeah, I
schools.
wouldn't have aimed for them. Yeah.
Let me check if that host under my socks. Bye.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it was kind of like a process that came about through just being in a very, let me say, internationally recognized school.
So
Yeah.
so basically your upbringing shaped your thinking process
Yes.
to make those Ivy League schools seem attainable, because people that maybe had gone through that system had achieved those things. So
Yeah.
for you, it seemed like it seemed possible
Yeah. Yeah.
to achieve. Interesting, but those things come with sacrifices, because those kind of schools are expensive to go to. So your parents made an investment to basically give you a future.
Oh, more than an investment, honestly.
They made
Like
sacrifices.
they sacrificed so much. I mean, there was a time when one of my parents went out of a job for like
Yeah.
4 years, and it was a really tough time. Like getting letters from the school. Okay, you've not paid your fees for this term.
What were those days like?
Oh, I mean, I think the good thing was that they prepped us for it. Like they told us, okay, look, right now
They
we're
were
still
honest
trying.
with you with things.
Yeah,
They're not
they
hiding
opened up.
things,
Yeah, they would
yes.
call us to the room in the morning and say, okay, look, you're starting school today, but we've not finished paying your fees for the term. So in case like they give you a letter or whatever, don't worry, you just stay in school. We're talking with the administration, trying to work something out. And so like we'd go with the knowledge that okay, they might send us a letter, something.
So you were ready for anything that happened.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like them springing up on you and wondering like what's happening.
Exactly.
So your parents being very candid with you, prepped you for like stuff like that. So that was what made those situations easy.
Yeah.
Easier to deal with.
Yeah, easier, but it wasn't easy.
More bearable.
Yeah, because I remember there was one time, the principal sent a worker to my class, and they were like, "Okay, where is Nia Kwete?" And I was like, "I raised my
Did they
hand."
call you out in front of everyone?
Well,
They're all like in these international schools, they have a really circumspect way of doing it.
yeah, it wasn't so like they were like, "Oh, please come with me."
It's
So
like public school, I would say, those haven't paid their fees.
yeah, no. Nah.
I wanted to preparing to like leave and go to the US. Were you like excited, or what was that like for you?
Oh, like leaving to go.
It's like finally we're waiting for like 1 year, and
oh, what was that like? Trying to remember, but like, I mean, from what I recall, it wasn't like so much of a big deal for me. It was just I was just excited to see. Yeah, I mean, I'd been waiting for it for a year, so like I knew it was bound to happen at some point. So when my dad was done paying the fees and like
your visa came,
my visa came, my ticket, everything, I knew okay, I'm going. So like leaving home was not like a challenge. I mean, I don't know. It was just weird how
mixed feelings for you.
No, not really. Like for some strange reason, I was just very comfortable with everything.
Well, it's very like calm and okay. So I'm not really surprised.
Yeah, I just knew it was the next step to take. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, like can I do this? I was just like, okay.
Did you think you were ready to go, like mentally, emotionally?
Okay, emotionally I was, because like at the time I was not dating. Can I stop? Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
At that time, I was not dating, so at least from that, like let's say romance like standpoint, I was not like bound by any like relationship.
But what about like family, like leaving
family? Yeah, from family side too. I mean, my twin brother was already in school. My sister, I think, was coming back, or one of my big sisters was coming back. So like with the kids that were in the house, I was like maybe the last but one to actually be going to school, and so it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like I'm leaving my family. It was more like, okay, I'm the next in line.
You're not those people that like are emotionally connected to. It's like, oh my god, am I leaving my family, leaving my mom? It was okay for you. I mean, you were going to school for a while, so it's kind of like
exactly. I think that's the key. Like I was in SOS for 2 years, and
prepared you for
that separation. I didn't have a phone in school. They could visit me every Sunday, but they actually didn't. So, I mean, that kind of, I guess, prepared me for what was bound to happen eventually. Because I was used to not seeing them around, like, just actually, like, not building a new family, but, like, building my own comfort zone in a place away from home. I was used to that already with SOS. So, now doing that in university wasn't, like, an alien idea to me. It was something I knew I could do. Yeah, so
Because now you get to the US and what's that life like? It's just steady, steady, steady.
Oh, I mean, no, I mean, it was a mixture of everything. I remember the first week I got into school. I mean, I made new friends and I met other Africans, and um, I got taken to my first like party
You
in the
lived.
States. Huh?
You lived.
Oh, I didn't live. I
No,
mean, not say I lived.
no, okay, but I tell like he lived because you typically would not even. I think you're like, I would call you a homebody, right?
Oh yeah, I'm a
You're
homebody.
For you lived because even when you're in Ghana, you're not really. It was like, even like a home party. Don't want to cry. It should be something that maybe has food. It's not like one of the crazy ones. Like yeah, so I mean, when you were going to university, we were not afraid at all. At all. This is speaking from like
From your perspective.
from my perspective, or from on the outside. Like one of those people, like if when you were going to uni, we were not afraid because we were like living with you for a while. Like your principles were set in stone. You knew what you wanted. You knew what you didn't want. That you knew what's right or wrong. You understood sacrifice. You understood like how much your parents had put in. Like your parents had instilled in you certain principles, and it was certain. Like they had done their work, and it was now time for you to go and live your life. So we were not worried at all. I was actually worried, like go out and live. Every time we talk, ask you, have you been anywhere? Asking about friends and stuff like that. That's for us. That's what our worry was. Like you not just be so focused on school and miss out on life experiences. So basically, it was steady.
I mean, it was a steady.
And then there was some fun in that.
Yeah, some fun in there.
But was school hard though?
I realized it wasn't hard.
In terms of
like, I mean, the course material, like I said, if you study, I think you should be fine. And I mean, the good thing is that because the syllabus is so detailed and they kind of lay out the topics you'll be handling, you can kind of like build a mental picture of what it is you're going to study. And so, and it's not different from here. It's just that the content of the course is the difference. So, and I also realized with the questions, how they pose questions, it's not necessarily like, okay, it's not as like a mechanical, if I'd say, as Ghana, for example. Like, okay, I went to Illinois Wesleyan University. That's the college I went to study accounting, but I did so many other things beyond accounting.
You know, people say I did a double major, 2 minors. Were you also one that was in all those? Did you do like those combinations?
Hey, no. I just did a major in accounting. I didn't do a minor. One of my, I did a politics class. It was international politics, and I killed that class. And the professor was like, "Oh, I should consider doing."
As a minor.
Yeah, because he was impressed with like my analysis of like political issues and stuff. So, like, he was trying to prod me.
But you knew where you were.
Yeah, I wasn't interested to the extent that, okay, let me do a minor. I mean, looking back, I could have easily done it. Like, it wouldn't have taken much effort, but it was not my. Yeah, I knew what I was there for. Funny enough, like the first year, I was having an issue with my major.
Accounting. Yeah,
accounting, because initially what happens is liberal arts colleges give you some leeway to change your major.
You have like some time to make up your mind.
Yeah, sometimes even beyond the first year. Yeah. So I was having discussions with a counselor they had assigned to me, and we were throwing out ideas of what I could do, whether it's accounting or business administration, and I had a conversation with my dad, and eventually I decided, okay, I'll do accounting. And it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like I've been dying to be an accountant since school.
You came to that decision from like deliberating with parents and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
You didn't know from did you know from the start I want to be an accountant?
No.
You came into that understanding.
Yeah. So it was not like something I just jumped into straight away. I had to like navigate it along with my parents.
So then you're done with uni, and how did it work life? So after that, what happened?
Okay, so before I finished uni, I got the opportunity to enter an internship program, which, like, by the grace of God, I was able to like get with KPMG.
KPMG.
Yeah, that was tough because like we have like a whole accounting class applying for those internship positions, and out of the entire like accounting class, only 4 of us were picked about 6 of us were picked for the interviews, and in the end 4 or 3 of us were picked for the positions as interns, and I was one of them.
That was the last year of uni.
That was the penultimate year. So in that penultimate year, I did was it I think it was a 4-month internship at KPMG Chicago, which was very eye opening, I would say, because there I was in class, you're studying accounting principles,
and then you're gonna apply it.
Not even just going to apply it, like you go into the field and you realize, okay, the stuff we learn in class, most of it is not even directly applicable to what they do out there. Because I can't think of an example on top of my head, but I realized that a lot of the things we're studying in class were just theory. But in the field, like, the practical knowledge was very different, and I had to learn that on the job. And through discussions with other professionals who were there, I realized, okay, this is something that you can never study enough for, because once you go there, it's like you have to relearn. So if anything, the theory side just maybe, I guess, opens your mind to the topics you would handle in the workforce. But when you actually enter that workforce, it's like it's a different ball game. So it kind of, how do you say, derailed me by it. I was a bit disillusioned by it. So when I came back to school, like, it was an internship at the start of school, and then I continued my second semester at school. So when I came back, that was my third year in college. When I came back, I was like, so what's all this? Like, why am I reading, like, this topic on taxation or on entrepreneurship, when in the end the real the thing that makes, like, that leads to an end product, which is like your money or your salary or like opportunities in the business world, is not this. Is actually what I was learning on the field. So at that point, I kind of snapped out of school. I realized, okay, my grades were dropping. Yeah, my grades dropped a little, and I was like, and like, the entire time I was there, like, you have to have a certain GPA to be on the dean's list. I was on the dean's list every year. That particular semester I came back, I was like very close to not being on the dean's list, and I was like, okay, I understand.
How did you snap out of that?
It was when I saw the GPA that time.
That you snapped out of it?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
I was still on the first class, but I was like, I dropped.
You easily have dropped off the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, no, I have to do something about
and then
this.
You just like snap out of it. Like, what am I doing? I need to.
Yeah. So then it wasn't about, okay, doing well because, like, let's say my parents are. Actually, no, it came back to that. So before it was, okay, study hard, do well because your parents have invested so much. Then I went to work during the internship. I was like, okay, why am I even? Then I come back.
I don't use any of this, so why am I even stressing myself?
Exactly.
And then you're much up for the list, you're like, no, I need to come back.
Come back to basics.
Yeah. Come back to what kept you grounded until that point.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, when you get into the working world, you realize that most of the things you studied in school are just taking them. And you get into the working world, and it's a different ballgame. Actually, relearning a lot of things. School won't cut it. You need to.
Yes, I mean, school does a lot. Like, it opens your mind.
It's not the end. Like, that's not the determining factor as to whether you would actually.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be. No, it wasn't going to be. Yeah.
So so you were done with university, and then what happened?
So I through the internship, I was able to secure a full-time job at KPMG Chicago.
So were you working whilst going to school, or it was secured for like when you finish?
Yeah, so the internship was, the school had an agreement with the accounting firm. So I think the first few months of my initial internship, I didn't go to school. I was living in Chicago.
Okay.
And then I came back for the second part of that year, my third year. So when I was done with my final year, there was an arrangement already in place with.
So you already had a job secured.
Yeah, I already had a job secured.
How did you feel about that?
I mean, I felt very proud, honestly, because it's not many students.
You told me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant.
Yeah. Wow. I was already planning my life, like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I'm going to.
Then you began to plan.
Yeah. I mean, at that time, I was dating, so like, the thought was, okay, like, how long after you start working would you consider, like, settling down?
Yeah. And you went to Chicago for the internship, so you had already lived in that city as well, so
exactly.
It would have been easy for you. Wow. So then you were done with university and you had to move to Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. I was moving. Well, I love moving, but did you enjoy moving more?
Well, I mean, when you're in college, there's not much you have to move out,
It's just a box. The movies, is it like it's just a box?
Oh no, it's not. I mean, I was moving to an apartment, so I didn't have a bed, I didn't have a mattress, I didn't have furniture.
I think that in my mind, like, oh my gosh, I'm growing up, like, I'm actually like, But like, was the decorating your place, did it give you joy? Decorating my place gives me joy all the time.
I never decorated my place, honestly.
Don't tell me that you had a mattress on the floor the whole time.
Oh no, was it? No. I actually got is it the bed frame. I actually got a bed frame, but it turned
Did
out.
you sleep on the couch?
Huh?
Were you sleeping on the couch?
No.
Okay.
It turned out that bed frame was not even fit for the mattress.
You didn't know that there were different mattress sizes. Are you serious?
It was the wrong size, and I paid like I think $200 or so for it. So it was a bummer, but in the end, I just had to, and I was comfortable. Like I'm the kind of person like if I make let's say for example I make a mistake on a certain decision, if I suffer alone for it, I'm much more comfortable.
As long as it doesn't affect anybody else.
Yeah, when it affects someone else, then that's when it really bothers me. So like I was like, okay, I'm here alone. I'm going to sleep on my mattress. Like nobody's here to be like, why are you sleeping on a mattress? I'm comfortable. I'm working. Like there's nothing more.
Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and I thought, okay, it's a matter of time. You just build up from there. See, I mean.
So you got your apartment. You got decorated and cooked, and then you started working.
Okay, so I was on this job that was in.
So your job involves moving around, right?
Yeah, it does, and depending on your client. So one of the clients I had was stationed in Michigan, which is close to Chicago, and I had to drive there every day. And so the first day I went, I took a bus, and I was able. I mean, we stayed there for like a week. So you go there a week, come home, and then go back. So that time I went, it was okay. But then HR reached out to me that, okay, look, you're supposed to have a car. You can't just be going with public transportation. And so I have to get a car at all costs. And so, I mean, that situation eventually changed. I got another client where I had to go there every day and like drive there an hour, 30 minutes, and then come back. I need to drive. And so I had to. I think the first week I didn't know which car to pick initially. So that first week of having to drive, I had to borrow a car from like a rental, a car rental service. Yeah.
Kind of thing, yeah.
And that was my first time ever driving a car alone. Like the first day I had to go to work in that rental. And so yeah, like I said, I almost had an accident, like trying to like turn the curb onto a road, and the truck was like coming in the same direction. It was crazy, but eventually I pulled through. It was like a steep learning curve. Like I had no choice but to do that because the job required it.
Yeah. So you had to just man up and do it.
Yeah, I just man up, and like I never told anyone about it till like later because I realized, okay, you can't go crying about every. I mean, I didn't cry, but like you can't go complaining about every situation.
This is the situation you have to.
Yeah, this is the real world. Yeah.
But if they hadn't forced you to get a vehicle, would you have probably gotten?
No, I wouldn't have gotten one.
You enjoy taking the buses.
Yeah, and Chicago, like the public transportation is very good. Like they have what they call the loop. So like from different regions of the city, like you can enter the downtown Chicago. And so like for my apartment was just on the road to the train station. And from that train station I could get a bus right downtown. But the issue is that because I'm dealing with clients, the clients will not always be downtown. Some would be out of state, some would be in state.
Your job requires you moving around, so get a vehicle.
Yeah, so I really needed the vehicle, and I mean, I benefited from that in the long term.
And how long did you work for?
Oh, I worked for just about a year. I'd say maybe just maybe like 1 or 2 months before like the fruition of a year. So it was like 11 months, 10 months.
And then the ultimate, and then what happened?
Oh yeah, I had to come home.
Why?
So it's to do with like, I mean that was 2016, so it may be different now.
The laws may be different.
But
the laws at that time said.
Yeah, but then what the case was this. I had school, and so I had a student visa, the H1B1. That H1 visa, you are allowed to work in the field of your study for 18 months after uni. And so basically after 16 months, sorry. So after uni I had that grace period.
That's 16 months.
Yeah.
To eventually get a work visa.
Yes.
So that was the ultimate was to get a work visa, then you're permanently allowed to stay there and work in KPMG.
But what happened was when I got to work, I didn't really like have an idea of what like the
process
timing,
was.
the process. Before that, actually, I want to make a point. So, even when I was applying for a job, and I chanced upon the internship, they'll ask a question in the application sites that, do you need sponsorship? And that sponsorship is linked to the work visa process, because with the sponsorship, if a company says okay they are willing to sponsor you, it means from the time they employ you to whenever
You
you
do
get
anything to.
to progressing towards a work visa.
Yeah.
I mean the applications, interviews, all that, they cover the cost for those, and only a few companies cover those, like multinationals or very
Companies with a certain caliber.
yes.
Certain caliber.
So like it was incumbent on me to try and get one of those jobs, because if not, it would be very hard to stay there legally. So even with that sponsorship that they offered to give me, I still had to go through the application process because it's not automatic. And so when I entered KPMG Chicago, I was there for a few months, and then they facilitated my application for the work visa. And that wasn't like application to get it; it was application to have the chance to get it. And with that first step, there's a bottleneck whereby people who have master degrees are put in the first pool of people. Yeah, prioritized.
Just a degree.
Yeah, and then they select people from that pool, and then the second pool they dump the rest in there. And even that second pool, there'll be some other masters individuals who now get preferential treatment in that second pool. So I didn't know that before I got my job. So I used to think that okay, maybe if I knew that, I may have prioritized just going to do a master's in, let's say, business or finance than to go straight to the workforce. And so when I realized that, I was like, okay, let's see what happens. But in the end, I didn't get it. And I had friends who I spoke to who actually some got it, some didn't. One even had a master's.
So I know this is like every company has like a quota of like that's given them. So if it's like 6 people that they're able to make a visa for, everybody else they won't be able to.
I mean, yeah, but that didn't apply to me because once they see they'll take you on for sponsorship, like they're bound to
everything. Okay.
Yeah. So I was not victim to that, but like the pooling aspect of the work visa application process was where I was not able to get the work visa
the
application
pool has to
through.
do with your company, has to do with the country and people that they prioritize. So it's not even the KPMGs, the US and all the applications they get for work visas, they prioritize masters over.
And I think they even incorporate international visas.
So all the
applications,
international like expats coming into work and everything.
Yeah,
so they have a quota.
Yeah, they have a quota. Yeah, I mean, as immigration,
yes.
they had a quota for how many individuals they take in, and that's where the pooling comes in to kind of get, I mean, quote unquote, get the best of the best.
Yeah.
So
it should be worth them giving that visa kind of in quotes.
Exactly, like you've earned the right kind of thing. So yeah, when I didn't get it,
so when the information came that I'm sorry, we can offer you like a work visa, what was that like? Did you like sit on the floor and cry and wail or?
Oh no, like I surprisingly took it well. Like I was like, okay, so what's the next step?
Because I think that call you called me. I can't remember, but we were having that conversation. You were like, "Oh, Dudu, I didn't get the visa or the work paper." I'm like, I think I was quiet for a few seconds. Because we were all like praying and believing in God.
Yeah.
And it's one of those situations where you're like, huh?
Did I hear right?
Because to be honest with you, like you're one of those people that you are very family oriented. Like every time you would maybe come home or wherever it is, it doesn't matter how small it is. You always ask you what would you need, or I'm trying to get you this. Would you like it? And so, you know, some people go outside and you're just very soft. You don't even hear from them yet, but you're one of the people that would always like, I'll message you, are you okay? Can you talk? We'll have conversations. If you're coming home, would you want, like you're a giving person. So I was like, why?
Like why should that happen to me?
I don't know. It's like those things are like, you're not supposed to question God, but why? I mean, you to be honest, you took it very well.
Oh,
telling people, I'm not telling people that like.
Like what, when they found out?
When they were denied, it was, and also for them because they know how much they've put in so much in terms of paying for education in the US and not being allowed to, get the money back.
Yeah, like not getting the opportunity to continue to thrive in the field you've started. Like
Oh,
So
that was like you didn't dwell on it. You just
no, like okay, so like the initial time I think I was awake when I found out. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't get it, and I was surprised because like I thought, like
it was set in
I think I
stone
just
because
didn't
you
have
were
enough
already.
education on it because
Mm.
at the start of working I thought okay, they're sponsoring me, so I mean I'm just
They'll sort it out.
yeah. So I didn't even think of it that okay you might not get it. So
So not even getting was not a possibility.
it was
That
not a
you
possibility
know,
to me.
so you know, like if it is like a 50-50 chance, you try and make other alternative
Yes,
arrangements. You
yes,
just feel like this is set in stone. So I'm just carrying on with my
yeah,
life.
yeah,
And then one day you get an email and it's like you didn't get it.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was just out of the blue. So I was like, okay, so then, I mean, they were actually very organized about it. They organized a meeting for all individuals across different levels who did not get
Oh, so it
the.
wasn't just
It
you.
wasn't just me. Like quite a few people who like were international students who had joined KPMG, Chicago had the same situation with them. And so we had a conference call where they were asking for options and stuff. And initially they sent an email which said, okay, these are your three options. You either get a master's, which is a full-time master's, which will allow you the chance to work and you can stay, or um, what was the second one? Or they have to let you go, and and the third one was they connect you with a member firm in another country, so that you can work there for some time and then you come back after maybe the process has been sorted out. But all those options were not available to me except for me losing my job. And
Why?
that's because with the masters, they said you're required to have a full time masters, and a master program you cannot really. I mean, you definitely have to work some days. I mean, you have to go to class some days during the week for long hours.
Mm.
And my job was such that I'd have to be at a client from 8 a.m. to 5
Also, the
p.m.
way you were working will not allow you
Yeah, like some people would have jobs where like okay maybe you can have tasks you're assigned to for a week and then you try to make it work. But this one like I have to be with a team physically at a location dealing with issues there on a daily basis. How can I be in the client's site? You actually go to the client's location and be working from there. How do I be at the client's site and still go to class, still like write a thesis,
to. You're
still
very realistic. You're very real with yourself and said this will not work.
yeah, it wasn't going to be possible. I knew like just by the nature of the work, it would not be possible. And even those who were counseling us were like, look, it was not possible.
No, so
And
they actually give you people who are counseling you, trying to give you extra help to help you decide on
yeah,
what.
to guide us on what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second option, like I mentioned, was excuse me, was
Paying up with a partner firm.
yes, outside the country. But there's a caveat to that. They required a minimum number of years of experience of 3 years, and I had
How
just
many
about
months?
one. Yeah,
One.
months. No, no, no. So like I was out of that. So I knew
So the only
okay.
third option was they have to let you go.
Yeah, and I knew like I mean not good, but I knew months before the end of my first year. So it wasn't like
Also, it didn't just happen like okay. So how many months prior to you like ending your first year did that?
um was it August? I think it was about 4 or 5 months before. No, like 3 months rather. 3 months before I finished. So like I even told some of my colleagues, okay, this was going to happen, and they were like, why is that the case? Like, what can they do something
No
about
other
it?
options.
Yeah, because they were like, okay, it's not like you're a criminal or something. Or it's not like
I mean, because
you're
people was like there should be a way. Like I was
yeah.
like this is not the only way. There should be a way. Like we're all trying. We're clutching to straws.
Well, some people find a way, but it's not legal. Because
But you were not willing to. I mean,
yeah,
no, not after all this education and everything. Like, you know, some people it's like they don't. You know, when they push people to a wall and they don't have a choice, they feel like they don't have a choice. They would rather go for whatever it is. But no.
yeah, I just knew that was not the right way to go. Someone even suggested to me, why don't you find a wife?
Marry someone.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I had
And then people do that.
my girlfriend at the time had dual citizenship, so it would have been a very viable way to go. But I just knew in my heart I'm not going to marry because of a visa. Like marriage to me is more sacred than just staying in a foreign country. It's about committing your life to someone. So am I going to commit my life to someone just so that I can stay in the US? It didn't make sense to me.
That's your principles were set in stone. So
What?
as I said from the beginning,
The
your principles were
principles.
set in stone. So now you're preparing to come home.
Yeah, and
And the interesting thing is, I have told you that, oh, I didn't get a visa, and we were all dealing with it. And like a couple of months later, he calls me and tells me, "I'm coming home. I'm thinking of getting you something." I'm like, you don't have to like all the money you have, just bring home. He's like, "Oh no, it's fine." I'm like, that was what even made it hard for me because for some people, if this things happen to them, I'm like, "Oh, sorry," you know. But for you, I was like, why?
I think at that time, when I was getting ready to come down, I knew that was not the end of my life. Like, I didn't feel like a failure. I knew that was just a process that didn't work in my favor. But, despite the challenges you go through in life, you don't stop being a brother, you don't stop being a son, you don't stop being a friend. So, like, when you know what people are, like, situations people have at their hands, or things they want to get accomplished, you still try and find your way to support them in the little way you can.
The day you left.
The day I left.
Was it like do you remember that day? Like, some people remember the day I left.
I don't remember. Like, I just knew I was coming home.
It was just life. Yeah, you're coming home.
I knew I was coming home. Like,
when you told your parents, what did they say?
Oh, my parents, they were worried about me.
Worried.
Like, my mom would call me, "Am I okay?" Like, and she knows I'm disappointed, but she don't worry. God is in control. Like, mommy, and like, yeah, I'm disappointed, but I'm not like devastated like you imagine. Yeah, like I know all things work together for my good. So, however it looks like now, I'm not so worried about it. And I remembered, in fact, the before I left, I actually had flown back home for my sister's wedding, and there was an issue with my visa, and I had to stay like an extra month.
Yeah, I remember that.
And there was a whole like back and forth with work over it, and I was scared. Okay, like I'm already leaving, so how am I going to create wahala for myself? But that time period, I remember very vividly. I had my pastor prayed for me, and he told me, he said something about as Joseph was sent into Egypt. That is what God is doing with me. So I knew, okay, there's something. It's not like I'm going to, whatever happens, I know I'm going there for a purpose. And today I'm beginning to see like traces of what that meant. But I know there's like a bigger picture.
Picture that we will eventually understand.
And funny enough, like I like to believe God talks to me, and He told me that I'll go back there.
We all believe that, like, no.
You want to believe that?
No, that cannot be the end of the story.
Oh yeah, it can't be.
That cannot, like, for me, I cannot accept, like.
Oh.
No. It's like those things where it's like, come, let's discuss. You know, the scripture that says, I feel like, this for me, like when you told me, I just told God that, you have to accept things. Sometimes you just have to, even if it's not what we were looking for, what we want, we have to accept it. We've accepted this, but I know that's not the end. Like, you didn't, even if you didn't tell me, there's some points you would, so you go back more valuable than you left. That's what it is. Maybe as we will speak that into existence. You go back more valuable than you left. Oh my gosh, you came back home and
then
what was that like? I'm sure knowing your family, that's like very, like the love that you guys have for each other. I'm sure they were very like
supportive,
welcoming.
Oh yeah, more than welcoming. I mean, they were more concerned about
we were all concerned about your mental state and
and it wasn't like I wasn't like stuck in a rut or anything. It was more like navigating my way through those initial months of being back home.
I was going to ask you, how did that go? Like navigating your way, like trying to settle in.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was trying to
move on,
see what was next, and also like trying to manage like the following expectations that had come about, because I knew, okay, my parents
were expecting
we're expecting certain things.
So interesting. So you were rather trying to manage that.
Yeah, no, okay.
Are you serious?
I wasn't telling them like, okay,
but
like
internally they didn't verbally say it, but you were subconsciously trying to help them through the process.
Yeah, because
wow. When you needed help through the process, you were actually.
I didn't think I needed it too. I feel like I just knew, okay, if God didn't want this to happen, like I did whatever I could humanly possible to stay
So
there.
those situations where I did everything humanly possible, and
Yes.
this was the response. So there's not even a thinking of, or maybe if I done something this way, this. No, I
No.
did everything, and this is the
Yeah,
decision.
I
I've
did
come to
everything I
accept
could.
it. Life
Yeah.
goes on.
Yeah.
Do you think like the experiences you had prior, like that gap year, the issues with your visa, like do you think that that prepared you for that moment? Was there anything that in particular that you can think about that prepared you for that moment, or was just
Yeah, I think like I said, the gap year was the time I
prepared you
think
for
I
a lot?
spent most with God, so that prepared me,
For a lot.
and it made one of the key things I gathered from that gap year before school was knowing that like if if you're a Christian and the Holy Spirit lives in you, then you have the assurance that God is always with you, Emmanuel, like Emmanuel. So like I know, okay, no matter what I go through, wherever I am, whatever situation I'm going through, only if I can understand that God is with me and I'm doing things to like I'm not saying that you have to live right to give God a like to kind of how will I say it, convince God that okay he should
God will
support
give you
you
because he's good.
because
It's
it's good.
not.
Yeah.
He's just a good God. That's nothing to do with your actions. He's
Yeah.
just good.
Yeah. So
Like God
I
is
knew
good,
once
basically.
I have that assurance, like no matter what I'm going through, as long as I'm looking to Him, like I'll be fine. So I think that's what I learned in my gap year, that when a situation came, it wasn't like a huge wave hitting me. I mean, there were times I'll wake up and like Charlie, I could be like sometimes I'll feel like I wish I could have some McDonald's or something like maybe a guilty pleasure that's of the US like environment. So like how you could go to the grocery store and just buy things like for cheap, but now it's like okay, you actually now budget because you're not working at this moment. Like
You have the liberty to.
yeah, you don't have the liberty to, and it was those kind of things
Those were the struggles.
yeah, those are the struggles, but like it wasn't to the point
It
of
wasn't detrimental.
no at all.
Interesting how I'm more concerned about like your frame of mind and how you're dealing with it, but you were actually concerned about like managing situations at home and getting people to the place where they actually accepted. Maybe it was like I think it was just a matter of God having dealt with you, and maybe knowing the situation that you were coming to face, and then dealing with you, making sure like you got to the place where you could be in the position to be of support for your family. Wow. How long did it take before you actually defined the job in Ghana?
It was like a year, because so I started like having conversations with my dad about possibly joining KPMG in Ghana.
Yeah.
And he spoke to some people he knew and they gave me times to go there, and I did. But just when like we were getting close to the door, we were told okay, the door was shut because the recruitment cycle for that year had ended. And so I had to wait out a year.
How did that also make you feel? Like, is that like, do you feel like
Actually, I didn't have to wait out. I could have gone to look elsewhere, but I felt strongly
you
that I
knew
must
this
stay.
KPMG? I want to.
Yeah,
like,
I have to
just
be at
knew-
KPMG.
How did that also? Do you feel like another door shut? What again?
No, I was more like I said, I come back to the place. I'm like, God, so what next?
Okay, my God, I pray for your faith and I pray for your like your zealousness, because me, man, I'm one of those people that will go and roll around in the mud.
Like God must answer me tonight.
Like I'll throw a tantrum and I'm like, oh my God, like why me? and I'll comfort eat like all my things and I'll gain weight and then I'll bend the fat. And then it's like when I like, oh my God, what? And I'll be like, this cannot be my life. Then I'll like snap out of it. I'm one of those people, but like, I thank God for your life.
I think maybe I internalize that a lot. Like I don't say much when I'm going through things. So I mean I've had those,
that's what worry sounds though.
like when I don't talk.
No, like when you don't verbalize how you're feeling, you're like, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, no, are you sure you're okay? It's like, oh, I'm okay.
But you know, like your words are like an engine of your faith. So
Oh my gosh, can you hammer on that again?
I said your words are like an engine of your faith. So like what you believe and you say, like your words carry that to perform what it was sent to do. So so like I knew from a while back that okay, I shouldn't just
Mindful
be
of
quick
what
to
you say.
don't just say anything. I mean sometimes I just lose it and I just say anything and I come to
Just
regret
normal.
it, which is it happens to all of us. But I knew like this situation is probably bigger than I think to just say something.
It's bigger than you.
Yeah.
My gosh, interesting mindset. So that door was closed, and then they had to now wait for another recruitment window.
Yeah, which was the next year. So I think that was.
You eventually got the position, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it wasn't like a protocol position where like they just plugged me into the.
You had to work for it. Like
I had to go for an exam.
You went through the entire process.
The entire process.
Nobody encouraged you and put you there.
No.
It's like you know, it wasn't. Honestly, it's not favor, but like you actually had to put in the work to get there.
Yeah, I had to study for an exam. I had to go for an interview, then a second interview, and then I got the job. And that's how I got back into KPMG.
When you're going to KPMG Ghana, did you have like an expectation? And then when you got in there, what like did the best job at all, or did you have like a really check at a point and be like, no, this is KPMG Ghana, snap out of it?
Oh no, like I mean I knew, okay, I just knew
it won't be the same.
It won't be the same.
But what came to you was even shocked you, because was it even shock you, or?
No, I mean it was let's say it was a reality check, but I was just like, this is what it is here. Yeah, like this is what it is to be paid as like an entry level staff here. But when you go out there, it's different. As
we are preparing to go back, even more valuable than. So, moving to Ghana, did that like shape you, change your mindset? How did that change you, or moving back to Ghana?
Moving back to Ghana didn't change my mindset. It just reinforced certain ideas. Ideas like, wherever, like I said, wherever God takes you, once you allow Him to work through you, and apply yourself, He would open doors for you. And that it wasn't the end. Like I wasn't like, I think the reason behind me going outside was key to maybe my reaction. Some people go outside with the idea that is where their destiny lies.
That's where my destiny.
Yeah.
Mindset is everything.
Like that's where I can make it. But I went there, and I still believe I'll go back there with the knowledge that there's something I have to pick from there. Because even when I was in school, like I was thinking of how to work, establish myself, and come back. Like I was not thinking of settling down there.
Living there for the rest.
No, I mean it was comfortable, but Ghana is just home for me.
Home is home.
Home is home. Like I was very hell bent on like finding a way to come back to Ghana. The only reason I was willing to stay there is if God tells me, okay, this is where you should be, or you don't have to come back home.
Until otherwise you were coming back home.
Yeah, that was what I wanted. So,
final remarks for anyone who had a plan. I won't even say went outside, but had a plan and the plan was cut short, or maybe that thing was cut short. What would you tell them?
I'll tell them that they should just at every step trust God, and understand that things may not always work out in that moment the way you expect. But when things come full circle, you'd realize that like God was with you.
It will make sense at the end.
Yeah. And like to never give up, to never like allow circumstances to dictate like how you relate with God. I mean, you can be shocked, upset, hurt,
it's okay
sad.
To go through the motions of
yeah,
but don't dwell in it.
Yeah, don't let it permanently damage your connection with God, because He's the source of your life as a Christian. Yeah. But I'd also say like for those who are planning to go outside, you should definitely like have conversations with people who have been through that already and have either come back or are still there.
Knowledge is everything.
Knowledge. For lack of knowledge, my people perish.
Yeah, knowledge is everything.
So like if I take myself for example, if I knew that okay, the sponsorship thing is there, the number of months I get after school to find a job, the work visa application process and possibility of getting denied, I would have maybe, for the very least, maybe done a master's just to increase my chances. I mean, I've even gone to a different country, because places like Canada.
There's so many things that you may have done differently.
Yeah, but in the end, I still know like no matter what happened then, like there's still hope for my future.
I mean, my closing remarks would be: I think sometimes if a picture has been painted and the canvas is right in your face, it's very difficult for you to see the picture that's been painted. But if you take it back, sometimes you have to look at things from the out, like take the painting back, then you can actually see a clear image. And then if you have the canvas and then someone is painting, the brush strokes may be very uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, when a masterpiece is created, people are like, wow, this is beautiful. But they don't know
the process,
how the brush strokes felt like, how uncomfortable it was, whatever. You only see the end. But the end is always beautiful.
Yeah.
That's why God says focus on the price. I always tell people this. God will tell you where He's taking you, but He'll never tell you how you get it because if He was to tell you how difficult it was going to be, you will never move.
Yeah.
You never move. Do you have anything otherwise you have to say?
Yeah, He said in His time He makes all things beautiful.
In His time.
He's still making things beautiful for me, but it's going to get beautiful.
Step by step. Would you say enjoy the moments, trust the process?
Yeah, I honestly wish I had enjoyed certain moments more.
Also, for anybody that's in the US right now, or has just gone there, enjoy the moments.
If you have opportunities to explore,
live,
but live well,
live wisely,
live right. Yeah, live right.
Live wisely, live right, but live.
Yeah.
Make memories. Enjoy the little triumphs. Enjoy the little things.
Yeah.
Because you never know. This is season 2 of Libraries and Therapy. My name is Shefini, and thanks for coming on the show. Hopefully I'll have you back again sometime soon.
Yeah, sometime soon. Okay.
Alright, thanks.
Thank you.
Are you cutting mine too? No.
No, I'm late. Boss, this thing, what can I